That's right, Neuvilette is just about out again, and it's been a little while since we've talked about Neuvilette because he came out in version 4.1. So today, I want to talk about how you should be building your Neuvilette from level 1 to level 90 again, and of course, we want to go over somewhat of an updated guide, kind of talk about a few other things that have come up. So before we get into that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact build guide comes out, and of course, leave a comment, would love to hear y'all's opinions. And don't forget, also, we are sponsored by the ever wonderful Gamer Subs. Make sure to use code TYSTRA for 10% off. We do have the new AFK sleep aid that actually is melatonin free, uses magnesium in it, and trust me when I say it has made me a very, very happy boy. I believe it's magnesium, I gotta make sure I pronounce it right, glycinate, magnesium glycinate. So it's actually very, very good for you. It showed a lot of promise. So now that we've gotten the shilling out the way, let's go ahead and talk about Monsieur Neuvilette, right? Neuvilette is, of course, a Hydro Catalyst user that was introduced in version 4.1 of Genshin Impact. Now, of course, you're going to need the following items to ascend him from level 1 to level 90. First off, we're going to talk about the Varunata set, which is the silvers, the actual fragments, the chunks, and, of course, the gemstones. You're going to need 1 of these silvers. You're going to need 6 of these fragments, or sorry, 9 of these fragments, 9 of the chunks, and 6 of the gemstones. And remember, rules of 3. 3 silvers make a fragment, 3 fragments make a chunk, and 3 chunks make a gemstone. Now, of course, you could find these from multiple different enemies, such as, you know, the Oceanid that we got like right at the start of the game, which I find one of the most annoying bosses out there. There's a Hydro Hypostasis, and of course, you could also get it from, what was it? There was a new Hydro enemy that came out, and I do feel really, really bad for not remembering it right off the top of my head. But yeah, those are the main 2, I would just say, Oceanid and the Hydro Hypostasis for now, because my dumb brain can't figure it out. So, but of course, you're also going to need these right here, which is the Fawn Teamer Unihorns, which you need 46 of these, and you get it from the Millennial Pearl Seahorse, which I just call the Electro Seahorse, to be honest, or Electro Unicorn. You fight it in Fontaine, and you're going to be battling it at a minimum of 23 times in total. So it is going to be a little bit of a doozy. It's going to take you a little while to get it done, especially if you get the maximum of 3. It's still going to take a little bit longer, but 46 is what you're going to need in total. Now, of course, you're also going to need the Lumentole, or Lumentoile. I'm pretty sure I said that right, but these are the Fontaine specialty items, and you're going to need 168 of them. You're probably going to need to borrow some from your friends if you haven't pulled for Neuvilette and they have. So make sure you talk to your friends, or just talk to anybody. Heck, if you need to join my world, let me know. I'll help you out. I don't need these. I already got Neuvilette. And then, of course, you're also going to need these pearls. So you're going to need the Oceanic pearls, or the chunks, and then, of course, the Xenochromatic crystals. Sorry, these are a little bit weird for me. So you're going to need the Transoceanic pearls, and then the chunks of those, and then the Xenochromatic crystals. You're going to need a lot of these, right? So let's scroll down. In total, as you can see here, you're going to need 18 of the pearls, you're going to need 30 of the chunks, and you're going to need 36 of the crystals, which isn't too much, but you'll need more when we get down to the actual, you know, crowning section. But you're going to need to remember, again, your rules of 3. 3 pearls make a chunk, 3 pearls make a crystal. Now, that's just to get to level 90, but let's go ahead and talk about triple crowning your Neuvilette, because I do think it's actually worth triple crowning him. He is an amazing character to triple crown. So let's go ahead and talk about these first. We'll talk about the pearls. You're going to need a grand total of 18 pearls, right? You're going to need 66 more of the chunks, and you're going to need 93 more of the crystals. So again, make sure that you're battling the water-based enemies. You'll get them from there. Of course, we're also going to need to throw in now the teachings stuff, or basically your talent books. So the teachings of equity, you're going to also need the guides of equity, and then the philosophies of equity. So you're going to need 9 of the teachings, you're going to need 63 of the guides, and you're going to need 114 of the philosophies. It is a very large grind, and you got to remember your rules of 3. 3 teachings make a guide, 3 guides make a philosophy. And this domain you could fight in Fontaine every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, which Sunday is universal. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, where are they? Right here. So you're going to need the Ever Ambers, which means that you're going to need to, we're not talking about the narwhal this time. You actually need to fight a Pep over in Sumeru, which is actually a pretty fun boss battle. I actually really like that boss battle. But you're going to need 18 of these Ever Ambers, so make sure that you're grinding your butts off in regards to a Pep, right? And then you're going to need 3 of these Crowns of Insights, followed by a grand total of 7.1 million Mora. It's a lot of Mora, but for him, it's worth it because he is one of, if not the best DPS out there right now. So as you can see right here, I do have Neuvilette kind of pulled up. Not my specific stats yet, but let's go ahead and talk about him, right? As you can see with my Neuvilette, I went with a 55-260 build. He's a little over in the crit rate for my minimums at least, because I always tell people to at least go for a minimum of 40, but it's definitely worth it. I am rocking 135 energy recharge because I feel as though, like, for him, he gains energy recharge relatively quickly, in my personal opinion. But you could go up to 150. I think it's definitely worth, right? And then of course Hydro bonus, but the main thing that you want to focus on is HP because he does scale off of HP. What do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities first, because I think that we should talk about talents before we start getting into the actual stuff. So his talents goes as follows. He is a catalyst user, so he's always going to be dealing hydro damage, right? So when life flourishes, Neuvilette commands the tides to unleash a maximum of 3 attacks dealing hydro damage. This is for the as water seeks equilibrium. But his charged attack is what you're gonna really want to pay attention to, because he fires off a Kamehameha blast of just pure and utter damage. When charging up, Neuvilette will gather the power of water, forming it with the seal into a seal of arbitration. In this state, Neuvilette can move and change facing and also absorb any source water droplets in a certain AoE. Every droplet he absorbs will increase the formation speed of the seal and will heal Neuvilette. When the charging is stopped, if the symbol has yet to be formed, then a charge attack will be unleashed. If it has been formed, then the charge attack equitable judgment will be unleashed. So if you just do, like, if you stop it before the seal happens, it just does a blast. But if you do the whole thing, it fires off a beam that kind of ticks, like, I think it's like 10 times almost. But yeah, consumes a fixed amount of stamina as well to attack opponents with a rupturing blast of water, dealing AoE hydro damage. He is pretty dang good with that too. Honestly, it's one of his best qualities. Now, that's only for the regular charge attack though. This is the actual charge attack that I was talking about. My apologies. Unleashes surging turrets, dealing continuous AoE hydro damage to all enemies in a straight line area in front of him. So he can hit it can hit multiple people at once. Equitable judgment will not consume any stamina and lasts for 3 seconds. If Neuvilette's HP is above 50%, he will continuously lose HP while using this attack. So the big thing is that a lot of these Fontaine units will lose HP and then gain it back, and then lose it and then gain it back, right? So plunging attack is whatever, but we don't want to talk about that. So how do you get the water source droplets or the source droplets for his attacks? Well, you get it from his skill and his ultimate, right? So his skill here, "Oh Tears I Shall Repay," summons a raging waterfall that will deal AoE hydro damage to opponents in front of Neuvilette's base on his max HP. That's why you want to scale his HP. After hitting an opponent, this skill will generate 3 source water droplets near the opponent. This is important because 3 source water droplets will let you form a complete seal right out the get-go. And then if you go for his Fuma, at certain intervals with the Raging Waterfall descends, a Spirit Breath Thorn will descend that will pierce opponents, dealing Fuma-aligned hydro damage. Now let's get into his burst, because the burst gives you a lot more water source droplets or source water droplets, however you want to say it. "Oh Tides I Have Returned" unleashes waves that will deal AoE hydro damage based on Neuvilette's max HP. It's a big AoE, by the way. After a short interval, 2 waterfalls will descend and deal hydro damage in a somewhat smaller AoE. It will generate 6 water source droplets within the area in front. It's a pretty dang good ability, right? And this ain't even like fully charged up. I don't know why I haven't done. I'm gonna charge these up a little bit. I'm crazy, right? Okay, I'll have to get some more, right? Because I had equity. But let's go ahead and talk about the the Ascension one, right? When the party member triggers a Vaporize, Frozen, Electrocharge, Bloom, Hydro Swirl, or a Hydro Crystallization reaction on opponents, one stack of Past Draconic Glories will be granted to Neuvilette for 30 seconds, a max of 3 stacks. Past Draconic Glories causes charge attacks, Equatable Judgment to deal 110, 125, and up to 160% of the original damage, and the stacks of Draconic Glories created by each kind of elemental reaction exist independently. So that's how you, like, his Kamehameha is going to do a lot of damage if you pair him with units, which we'll talk about the team that we got here in a bit. And then of course his secondary passive is for each 1% of Neuvilette's current HP greater than 30% of max HP, he will gain 0.6% hydro damage bonus, and a maximum bonus of 30% can be obtained this way. So for me, I don't think I got the full bonus, but I did get a good chunk, right? I'm at a 76.6% with him. So then let's go ahead and talk about weapons, right? I, of course, went for his weapon because it's built for him. It's perfect. Perfect down to the T, right? Tome of Eternal Flow. HP is increased by 16%, and when current HP increases or decreases, charge attack damage will be increased by 14% for 4 seconds, max of 3 stacks. So you're getting up to 42% extra attack on your charge attack, basically. This effect can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. And when the character has 3 stacks, or a 3rd stack's duration refreshes, 8 energy will be restored, and this energy restoration effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. That's why I wasn't too worried about my energy restoration, because I'm gaining it from this tome, right? Now, of course, you could use other like catalysts, such as Sacrificial Jade is a really good one, especially giving you that extra crit rate. When not on the field or for more than 5 seconds, max HP will be increased by 32%, and Elemental Mastery will be increased by 40%. So he does really good with this. I don't think that you should like entirely go for it unless it's your 4-star. I think it is a pretty good 4-star though. If not, you could always go for, where is it? Prototype Amber. I don't think I have it on here. Oh wait, I do. It's right there. I'm done. But Prototype Amber is an HP based one. You can use it for using an elemental burst. It regenerates 6 energy every 2 seconds. All party members will regenerate 6% HP every 2 seconds of this duration. It's not a bad one to have. Or if you have another 5-star, you could always go for Kagura's Verity, just to get that extra damage off and to get that extra crit damage. So there's that. There is also another one that I kind of wanted to talk about that isn't really like put on here a lot, or I haven't seen it in a lot of people's guides, and I kind of see it as a possibility. I don't think it's the go-to, but it's definitely something to think about. It's called the Ballad of the Boundless Blue. Within 6 seconds after normal and charge attacks hit an opponent, normal attack damage will be increased by 8%, and charge attack damage will be increased by 6%, max of 3 stacks. Now, again, I think the reason why nobody's really talking about it is because its main stat is energy recharge, and you don't really need that on Neuvilette, but I do think the ability is decent, and it works pretty well. That way you don't have to focus too much on energy recharge in your substats. You can focus on those crits and HP and attack percentage, right? So I would definitely say Tome of Eternal Flow is good, and then probably Sacrificial Jade would be your best bet in regards to the 4-stars, but it is what it is. Let's talk about some artifacts here, because he's got decent artifacts that you could use. I think there's 2 sets that you mainly want to focus on, which is Marachusei Hunter and of course Heart of Death. Now, Marachusei Hunter goes as follows. The 2-piece normal and charge attack damage is upped by 15%, followed by the 4-piece set. When current HP increases or decreases, crit rate will be increased by 12%. So Marachusei Hunter is really, really good for that. But if you do want to go for a Heart of Depth, it makes sense because it's a Hydro DPS, right? So 2-piece Hydro damage bonus plus 15%, and the 4-piece, after using an elemental skill, increases normal attack and charge attack damage by 30% for 15 seconds. But Marachusei Hunter is definitely the go-to in my personal opinion. I loved using Marachusei Hunter, right? It's just so dang good. And your main stats you want to focus on are crits, of course, followed by HP percentage. ER could be that, or you could even replace that with attack percentage, I think, because honestly, you are still going to do a decent amount with your attack buffs going up. But HP is definitely your go-to. So honestly, crits, HP flat, energy recharge, and then if you can't get anything like that, go for attack percentage. It's not going to help a lot, but it's better than getting defense, am I right? So, but let's go ahead and talk about some main stats here for your sands here, sorry, I almost said goblet, but for your sands here, your main focus is HP percentage. So get yourself an HP percent Marachusei Hunter. It'll work just fine. Followed by your goblet needing hydro damage bonus, or you could go HP percentage if you have a goblet laying around that you could benefit from. And then of course your circlet, depending on what you need, you could go crit rate or crit damage, right? I went with crit rate because at the time I was at 20 and I needed a little bit more crit rate. So there's that. Overall, Neuvilette is a beast of a man, right? So today I'm going to be rocking him with Fiorina because Fiorina came out after him, and Fiorina is going to help him out with the support and giving that extra damage, followed by Kazuha giving that swirl damage, and of course Kuki Shinobu providing some electro charge damage, right? So we're going to go ahead and fight our boy here, right? And you're going to see how fast this goes because he is absolutely bonkers. So get this going. Get the swirl. I'm gonna get out of there real quick. Get Fiorina out. There's those water source droplets, and boom. That's just a minimal amount of damage right now, right? Gonna get that going. And then we're just gonna see him drop, right? I literally just walk around and I can heal. You really don't even need Kuki's healing in this case. I really only went for Kuki's healing, or not Kuki's healing, but I only went with Kuki because of the electro charge. And look, boom, he's already at max HP. And you could cancel it if you have those water source droplets and you have enemies that are already destroyed and it's just you and you still have those water source droplets. You could cancel it by jumping out of it, right? So it's definitely worth. Overall, Neuvilette is a freaking beast of a DPS, and honestly it's tough for me to say skip for him or skip him for like someone like Arlecchino, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're not going to summon for Neuvilette, it's kind of tough for me to back you up on that because Neuvilette is just so dang good. He's so good. So I'd say summon for him because he's definitely worth your time. And honestly, that's going to be it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below, and check out obviously the ever wonderful gamer subs. Make sure to use code TYSTRA for 10% off of your next order. Once again, thank you so much. I love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Please take care and be safe.